For my internship in 302-303, I was placed at River City Scholars Charter Academy, a part of NHA. It is a school that goes from kindergarten to 8th grade and is located off of Kalamazoo Avenue on Evergreen Street. In the area, there are gas stations, some automobile repair places, a couple of local restaurants, but it's mostly a residential area, as well as some industrial companies that deal with lumber and with cars and building things. The building itself for River City Scholars has been standing for over 100 years because it used to be Oakdale School, which I believe was built in 1908. Most National Heritage Academy schools in the area look very similar. They make an L shape, so there's like one wing and then another wing, and they're like very basic white, but River City is in this beautiful, unique building that stands very tall. There are 3 levels where classrooms are. Kindergarten starts on the first floor, and then they make their way up, and middle school is at the top. I am from the area that River City is a part of, and I have been so blessed to learn more about the neighborhood that I grew up in, because I thought I knew a lot about my neighborhood, but now I'm seeing it through a different lens, which I think has been a really unique experience. As far as the classroom I'm in, I worked with a kindergarten teacher who has been at River City for 2 years. She worked as a parapro before that, and as a teacher at another school. She's taught 5th grade and kindergarten and some other grades, I believe. So she really had an understanding of a lot of different things in education, a lot of different grade levels. She is an African American woman, which was a really great experience for me because I learned a lot from her in that way as well. I constantly asked her, okay, now as a white person teaching in a predominantly African American setting, she estimated that nearly 90% of her students were African American, although the school's website says about 75% of their students are. She said it was quite a bit higher than that. So I would ask her, as a white person, how can I be more sensitive to things about race? How can I be more informed about things that Black people experience, because I don't have that knowledge? And so her advice for me was learn the culture. Know what kids are talking about, because then you can relate to them on that level. And even though I'm not Black, learning the culture and being a part of it, I think living in the same area as your students can be really beneficial too. So I learned a lot from her in that way. I learned that I love kindergarten. I love seeing students at a very basic level where they still are excited to learn. They still come in and they have this wonder. And for my unit, I really tried to play off of that and tried to give them experiences where they could play, they could explore, they could do things in different ways. So that was super fun for me. And you can see more about that on my unit plan page. But that was just one thing that I took away from the internship, was playing off of such high energy of students and trying to tie that into engagement in a way. Another thing I thought was interesting was the use of a class contract, even at this young of an age. My mentor teacher, used a class contract that all of the students put their fingerprint on. But I think it was a very basic class contract that said, we will use kind hands. So it had a lot of policies, but not a lot of active procedures, or, okay, this is the way we are going to do this. This is the way we are going to be kind. This is the way we are going to help out our friends. So I thought that they did a good job by implementing this this class contract, but that I think if I were going to do it, I would split it up into the 3 C's: the conduct, content, and covenant. So saying, what about our relationships for covenant? What about our relationships? What sort of rules or standards should we have for our relationships? And then how do we do that? With conduct, with behavior, what's expected? What will the teacher do? What will the students do? And then with content, what will we learn and how will we learn it? On both ends, teacher and student. So I think that's a really important thing to add to a class contract because it makes it explicit. It's right there for students to see. It's an experience to make the class contract together and to say these are the rules we're going to follow, but then it gives it even more meaning when you say these are the ways we can follow this rule, and these are the ways that this rule is important. So that's one thing that I would add to my classroom, is I would take away this experience from the internship of the class contract, but I would add the covenant, conduct, and content piece to it. Yes, I hope you look further at my unit plan ideas and at some other things on this page. Thanks.